Please be seated. Welcome to the Glen Massey Theater, the Matanuska Susitna College, the University of Alaska Anchorage, and the University of Alaska, all one and the same. And we're so very glad to finally have a face-to-face graduation after 3 years, and it's really a nice thing to see people again. For the purposes of our ceremony, if you have cell phones with ringers, please turn those off. And for the graduates and others who don't feel comfortable with shaking hands, there's no obligation to do so. You're welcome to do a fist bump or another not obscene gestures. We are looking forward to this event. On behalf of the University of Alaska, we recognize the Dena'ina and O'tna people who refer to this land as the land of lakes and islands, and their history, which helped shape this community today. We also recognize veterans who have served our country and who traditionally constitute about 10% of the student body at this campus, and we thank them for their service. And I'd also like to thank the Special Events Committee for rediscovering the process to make a face-to-face graduation again possible. We look so much forward to this event today. Could everyone please stand for the Alaska flag song? You may be seated again. As you may have noticed in your program, there is a description of the robes that are being worn today. They have ancient roots, roughly 800 years ago, in many places in Europe, including England. These robes were done out of a practical purpose. Many buildings were not heated, and people wore them to keep warm. I had the pleasure of leaving Palmer about 45 years ago to study in England, and I had the opportunity to go to Oxford University to visit for a while, and there was actual people wearing these robes on a regular daily basis, and there was even one ceremony in Latin, though bewildering though it was a connection that I think is wonderful to have. Here we are on the edge of the last frontier, connected by 800 years of history to ancient educational traditions, and we're very proud of that. And I can tell you, heating is no longer the big issue in wearing robes, and we can truly say we are giving you a warm greeting and congratulations today. They are warm. In addition to being in England, I once had an opportunity to sit on the bench where Sir Thomas More once sat the day before he was executed, and there is another connection I'll get back to shortly on that. But before I go down that particular path, I'd like to note that much of medieval literature makes reference to fortunate people. And for example, the Cid of Spain was thought of the champion, the campeador, the fortunate one. We feel fortunate to be in the lives of our students. The faculty and staff of this institution are very proud of our connection to not only the past, but to the future. Through the opportunities do start here at this campus, and we think we're about to launch several new opportunities. Fortunate people include the people who work here. I would like to recognize at this point, and I would ask Dr. Rachel Graham and Dr. Kathleen Nevis to rise. Dr. Nevis has just received official promotion to Associate Professor at the University of Alaska, and Dr. Graham has been promoted to Full Professor at the University of Alaska, and it's a big deal for professional faculty to receive these promotions. They do not come easily. Congratulations to both of you, and thank you for service to this community. If you think of our institution as having its roots in medieval times, we are in fact a medieval hierarchy in many ways. We have with us a special visitor from the Board of Regents, which is not unlike the College of Cardinals, very far away and high levels. Regent Hargraves is here. In the 105-year history of the University of Alaska, there have only been 3 regents from this valley, and he is one of them, and we thank him for his presence at our ceremony. Also with us today at the stage party is Dr. Alex Hills, more of whom I will talk about later. We also have with us Adelina Rodriguez, Director of Student Services, who is completing her first face-to-face graduation with this institution and has worked hard to help make that possible. At the end of the row is Dr. Beth Hartley from the University of Alaska Southeast, here to help us with a special part of the ceremony as one of our graduates received their degree through Juneau, and she is here to help make that official. One other relic from the past is our chancellor. We have our own local chancellor. Chancellor Sean Parnell is with us today. He is, in effect, the representative of the king, if you think of the president of the university as the queen or the king. Perhaps England's most famous medieval chancellor was Sir Thomas More, the man who I sat on the bench where he was executed thereafter. Sir Thomas More was known as the man for all seasons, a scholar and a man of principle. He was also beheaded. Rather than follow that thread too far, suffice it to say, we are pleased to have our chancellor, himself a man for all seasons, our former governor, who will now give us an official greeting, probably in Latin.
Wow. I think it's the first time I've been called a relic, and only from Director Talis Kohlberg. So it's graduates, it is so good to see you this evening. As we were coming back through the back hall here, and you all came out first, to hear the cheers of your family and friends who are here supporting you, and to hear your cheers as you hit this auditorium. It was a warming of the heart for us in the back. And so congratulations from myself as the UAA Chancellor, but frankly from the entire UAA and South Central Alaska community. We're so proud of you and what you're doing. We also had opportunity in the back to speak to the opportunity that you have before you because of your hard work, the studies that you've completed, the degree and the certificates that you've earned today. Alaska is a place where there is more opportunity for you as a person and more responsibility available to you, more authority available to you, more opportunity and more hope available to you in this state than any other place in this nation. And so I'm just so excited for you and your future. Director Kohlberg also mentioned the faculty and the recent promotions of several faculty members. I had the opportunity to review about 32 of the faculty members' files for promotion and tenure, and the stories and the achievements of the faculty members who have taught you, and to see the surveys from the students who speak to how your faculty members pour themselves and their knowledge and learning and experiences into your lives just made it warmed my heart to understand that that's why we're here. And to see you today, this is like the best day of the academic year, to see that you have completed your course of study, you have created even more opportunity and hope for yourselves in the future. We're proud of you, and so I just offer my congratulations and wish you the very best in your future and to your family and friends. Thank you.
Popular renditions of medieval history, in England especially, like to present a character who may or may not have been an actual person, the wizard, Merlin. Merlin, of popular memory, was a person of prodigious powers with a real understanding of all things. Our guest speaker today is, in fact, a real Merlin here in Palmer, Alaska. Dr. Alex Hills chose to live in Palmer, but in fact has been all over this planet. If you read the biography, you know that he has been a pioneer in major technology in the modern age. Dr. Hill's academic career has been housed mainly at Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, where he is and remains on the staff as a distinguished service professor of engineering and public policy. However, he and his wife chose many years ago to actually retire here in Palmer, Alaska. He has, since I've known him in the last 15 years, been constantly traveling to Asia, Africa, South America, all over North America to teach students about modern technology. He's brought students to this campus. He's made himself available to every major campus in this system. He's been on advisory boards to both UAA, UAF, and on the campus that you're sitting on right now. He's brought some of his students from other countries to actually present at this campus. He's been on a Distinguished Service Award for the university. He has an honorary doctorate from the University of Alaska, as well as his PhD from years ago when he first started off in the intellectual life. He is the man who led the team to build the world's first Wi-Fi network right here in Alaska. It's a big deal that we have a man who could have been anywhere, who chose this place to live, and has presented many, many opportunities to the University of Alaska's many campuses. Merlin wanted to be with us, and we are fortunate to have Dr. Alex Hills as our guest speaker today.
Well, I really didn't want to go to college. No one in my family had ever been there, and I didn't want to be the first. My parents wanted me to go, but what did they know? They had never done it. I was just an electrical nerd. I could twist wires together and get things to work. I could build radio gear that didn't throw sparks or spew black smoke. I knew about that stuff, but college? I wasn't so sure. I knew how to make radio waves bounce around the world, and I could copy Morse code at 30 words per minute, but that did not get me in with the college crowd. I didn't hang out with the cool kids, the ones that were going to college. But I did have some radio friends. We understood the secret world of electricity and radio waves. I guess we could have been called geeks, but that wasn't even a word back then. We were all ham operators with our own gear and call signs. We babbled on about our radio projects and faraway contacts. Those other kids, the ones that were going to college, they couldn't even understand what we were saying. To them, we were speaking a foreign language. We lived in a different world, the world of radio. But then high school graduation came. And I didn't have any other ideas, so I said, okay, I'll give it a try. And when I arrived there, I found others just like me. They didn't know why they were there either. On the second day, we were all herded into a big auditorium. It was kind of like this one. It was kind of like the Massey Theater. The college president was up front, just like you just saw Dr. Kohlberg up here. But the college president spoke in a somber voice. He was way more serious than Dr. Kohlberg. He said, look beside you. Look to your left. Look to your right. One of you won't be here on graduation day. That was encouraging. That didn't really help with self-confidence. But I stayed with it, and on graduation day, I was still there, I had some new skills, and I was actually employable. Education had opened doors that were previously closed. In fact, they were doors that I didn't even know existed. So my technical skills and what I learned in college did help me get a job, but I still did not know how to work as part of a team, how to cooperate with others and compromise when needed. And I definitely did not know how to lead a team, so I still had a lot to learn. A few years later, I was in Alaska. Tiny waves splashed against the seaplane's floats, and it rocked back and forth in the water. I untied the plane from the dock, climbed up into my seat next to the pilot. "Ready?" he asked. I nodded yes. The engine started, and the Cessna began to move slowly. Pilot John Lee, some of you might know him, picked up the radio's microphone. "Anchorage Tower, Cessna 7022, taxiing for departure Lake Hood." The tower gave takeoff clearance. John pushed the throttle forward, the engine roared, and we rushed down the watery runway. The Cessna broke free of the water and banked right. We were headed toward western Alaska. It was 1972, and not many of the villages out there had a reliable communication system. None had telephones. Most of them had shortwave radios that weren't really very reliable, and they didn't work at all when the northern lights were out, and that was most of the time. I'd come to Alaska to work on a way to get the villages hooked up to the phone system. It turned out that radio was the way to do that, and I did know how to make those radio waves bounce. I was leading the field crew of what we then called the Bush Telephone Program. Our job was to put a single radio phone in each village using antennas that looked like those 1950s TV antenna contraptions that you can still see. Sometimes I ask people, have you ever heard of over-the-air TV? And they don't know what I'm talking about. But it's those rooftop TV contraptions. And the radio phone equipment set signals to a relay station and then connected people's voices into the regular telephone network. So whether I liked it or not, I had to be the team leader. And I did lead. It was just a small team, just a pilot, two technicians, and me. And the project's success depended on me and the team. So we worked together, we got the job done, and soon Alaskan villages all had phone service. Now it's about broadband. We're working on that one, but that's another story. I did want to tell you that we did have some exciting experiences with that Cessna, though. In the beginning, I was a fearless flyer. That was because I knew next to nothing about flying. I didn't even know when to be scared. But then Pilot John taught me about some of the details and the dangers of flying, and I soon came to know fear. As we flew, I would look over at John, and when the hair on the back of his neck was standing up straight, I knew then it was time to be scared. So as we tested that, years later, I was asked to build a radio system to link up what we then called portable computers. They weren't really that portable, about the size of a suitcase. They were pretty big. You could carry one around, but it was more like lugging it around. And so if you could imagine a geek, me, lugging a big computer around and calling it portable. But we knew that computers would soon get smaller. Think of the smartphone in your pocket with the bell turned off. And we also knew that people with those small computers would want to be connected to the internet, always. How could we make that happen? We used radio. And again, I had to lead a team, and that wireless network worked, and as you heard a few minutes ago, that's what we now call Wi-Fi. But as we tested the network, we needed a way to temporarily place a radio base station on a wall. We needed to just put it up there temporarily while we make some measurements and then put it down and move it to another place. So I tried to think about how to put that base station up there just temporarily. And then I thought about Alaska, and I thought about duct tape. Duct tape, that was what we used. So after being a teenager reluctant to go to college, I finally had some technical skills. I knew how to be a team player and even the leader of a team. And I started to think about giving back. I thought about the Rotary Club motto. You might have heard of this. The Rotary Club motto is service above self. 3 words, service above self. So I started volunteering to help some small, poor nations with their technical problems. Now, they couldn't afford to hire a consultant, so I worked free, and for them the price was right. And that's how it all got started. Later, I helped college students, my students, who now work in poor countries in Africa, South America, Asia, even some Pacific Island nations. And it really helps the people in those places. But interestingly, the students tell me that the bigger impact is on their own lives. They say the bigger impact was on me, and the reason they say that is because they too have started to live by that motto, that Rotary motto, service above self. So, what have I learned over these many years since I headed to college? And when I say many years, I mean many years. This is what I've learned. Here's my list. Hard work beats raw intelligence. You need marketable skills to get a job. You need to work on a team, and you can use your skills to help others. You can give back just a little. So I know that your hard work and maybe some good luck have helped you to arrive at this day. And congratulations, I want to add my congratulations to all of you for what you've achieved here. I know that you'll do well in your careers or as you continue your education. But I hope you'll also find some time to serve others. I hope you'll find out what Alaska and the world need you to do. So go out, do well, and do some good. Thank you.
Perhaps one of the more popular medieval stories is about the legend of the sword and the stone, where the hopes of a better future are revealed in the once young and future King Arthur. What he's able to do in youth, what no other person can do, and extract the sword from the stone. As we emerge from the COVID cave and look for a brighter future, we have a promising representative of our campus in this class, one of our graduates, a campeador, a champion. Please help me welcome our student speaker, Amber Defoe.
I never pictured myself speaking for commencement, but here I am doing it with the support of our faculty and professors and the support of my family, proving to my children you can do hard things. When I was growing up, I knew I was going to be a neonatal surgeon so that no other sister had to lose her brother. But plans changed, so I became a hairdresser and later a hairdressing instructor. I thought that would be my ending career, but plans changed one morning when I woke up and I couldn't raise my hands above my chest. So back to school it was, thanks in part to the vocational rehabilitation and the VA. As I stand here ready to get my magical piece of paper, I can't help but think of the challenges and changes we have faced as individuals, families, students, and as a community. Who would have ever guessed when we finished our midterms and left for spring break in March of 2020, that it would be months before we can meet again in person? From health issues, homeschooling our children, Zoom meetings, masks or not, nothing held us back from our goal. And tonight we get to meet in person, masks optional, shake hands, and celebrate our achievement as a group. I hope my children know and always remember the only thing that can hold you back when you're faced with an obstacle is yourself. That obstacle may be as big as your husband fighting cancer not once, but twice in less than a year. It may be your own health issues, or it may be as simple as your car won't start, but the only obstacle is you. You have to figure out where to go from here. Move on to another degree, join the workforce, or maybe just enjoy a weekend with no homework. COVID has played a role in our classes, but our professors and faculty have stepped up to the plate when dealing with this new challenge. And they, just like us, had their own personal obstacles to deal with. Because of their diligence and creativity, we are here ready to get our degrees. I once read a quote, "Don't wait for things to get easier, simpler, better. Life will always be complicated. Learn to be happy right now. Otherwise, you will run out of time." Time is such a precious commodity, and we never know when our time will run out. It is up to us to take the good with the bad and be the change for ourselves. Life is easy when everything is going smooth and there are no obstacles in your way. But it's when you're climbing the mountain with change and obstacles all over our paths that we grow. I know our experience wasn't the typical college experience. Parking has been so easy the last 2 years. I can always find the parking spot I want. But because of the struggles and the challenges, I'm going to appreciate my degree more, because despite the obstacles, here I am today. Our college experience may have been different. You may not have had the challenges I had, but that doesn't matter tonight. We are here at the end of this adventure, ready for our next one. So wherever the next adventure takes you, no matter what changes or challenges you face, remember you can do hard things. And to my husband, kids, family, professors, and faculty, I couldn't have done this without you. Thank you for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. Thank you.
As your program points out, there are different cords worn by different graduates that recognize honor, leadership, military service, and veterans. And we appreciate all of the diverse backgrounds that our students come from. Before the graduates come forward, I would like to recognize the different groups they represent, and I'll ask different people to stand at different times so you can get an idea of who's before you today. I would ask that the candidate for a master's degree please stand. Is the candidate for a bachelor's degree with us today? Okay. I'd like the candidates for associate's degrees to please stand. And the candidates for occupational endorsements. And now for the grand finale here. Regent Hargraves, can you join me at the podium? I'll get to you in a second. Regent Hargraves, as director and on behalf of the faculty of the Matanuska Susitna College, it is my pleasure to present the candidates for their occupational endorsement certificates and associate degrees. In addition, we are pleased to present several students who are also awarded from the University of Alaska Anchorage and the University of Alaska Southeast their degrees. Because of the proximity of family and friends, one has chosen to receive recognition at our commencement.
Hello, graduates. Congratulations. By the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents under the Constitution of the State of Alaska, and upon the recommendation of the Director of Matanuska Susitna College, I confer upon you the degrees to which you are entitled, with all the rights, privileges, honors, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Will the candidates for occupational endorsement certificates, associate degrees, and bachelor degrees please come forward? stand by your chair if it's easier, if it's, they're going to come by one by one.
Do you want me to help?
Yeah.
Where's it?
Occupational endorsement certificate, refrigeration and heating. Lucas Fagas, occupational endorsement certificate, refrigeration and heating. Thera Shrum, Associate of Applied Science, Human Services.
Congratulations.
Marcy L. Harrison, Associate of Applied Science, Human Services. Alexandria Burks Dakutik, Associate of Arts, General Program, National Society of Leadership and Success. Philip Kulakevich, Associate of Applied Science, Computer Systems and Network Technology. Vitalia Kulakevich, Associate of Arts, General Program, cum laude. Rashan Jerome P. Lucero, Associate of Arts, General Program, magna cum laude. Gilberto Ramos, Associate of Applied Science, Computer Systems and Network Technology. Elizabeth Edwards, Associate of Arts, General Program, cum laude. Nanette T. Rhodes, Associate of Arts, General Program. Emily A. Owens, Associate of Arts, General Program, magna cum laude. Morgan M. Grondike, Associate of Arts, General Program, cum laude. Justin C. Zimmon, Associate of Applied Science, Accounting. Mikhailo Sheznev, Associate of Applied Science, Accounting, magna cum laude. James C. Watkins, University of Alaska Anchorage, Associate of Applied Science, Accounting, cum laude. Amber Laura Defoe, Associate of Applied Science, Accounting, magna cum laude, National Society of Leadership and Success. Timothy Faring, University of Alaska Southeast, Bachelor of Arts, Elementary Education. Andrew C. Matson, Associate of Arts, General Program, summa cum laude.
Will Kathleen Yerbich please join us on the stage? Regent Hargraves, we are pleased to have a graduate who will be awarded her master's degree because of the proximity of family and friends who have supported her during her continuing education achievement. She's chosen to receive recognition at the Matanuska Susitna College Commencement. The candidate is receiving a Master of Education Reading Specialist from the University of Alaska Southeast. Dr. Beth Hartley, University of Alaska Southeast, Assistant Professor from the School of Education, will perform the hooding with the assistance of Chancellor Parnell. Logistically, I think we're waiting for a couple people. I don't want to have the, bear with me one second. They should be filing out in a second. We'll finish the photos a little bit later. Don't want anyone to miss the... While we're waiting a second here, there is a reception after the ceremony, which we're almost done with. And please don't get up out of your seats until the procession is over, because we will be having a procession through the middle of you up through the stairway. And so it's part of our process that we try to recognize the graduates by applauding them as they exit out the doors when they're all in place. I think everyone is back down here. Thank you. And then they can complete the photos after we do this. Will the class of 2021 and 2022 that are here today please rise? We welcome you to the community of educated men and women, and now in recognition of your new status, please remove your tassels from the right side of your cap to the left. Congratulations. It is my pleasure to introduce you to the Matanuska Susitna College class of 21 and 2022.